Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and thought, I didn't even buy anything crazy. So where did all my money go? Like you didn't take a vacation, you didn't buy a new phone, you didn't have a major emergency, and you definitely didn't randomly walk into a Tesla dealership. And yet somehow your expenses are way higher than they used to be. You're not imagining it. You're probably experiencing silent inflation. Not the inflation you hear about on the news, that's the obvious one. I'm talking about the categories that nobody talks about. The categories that don't show up in CPI charts, but they destroy your wallet slowly, quietly, and consistently. And what's even crazier, most people blame themselves for being bad with money, when the truth is, the rules of the financial game changed, and nobody told you. So today, I'm going to expose the 5 categories where silent inflation is hitting you the hardest, the math behind why it's happening, the psychological traps that make it even worse, and what you can actually do about it. My name is Nico, and I spend way too much time thinking about how money quietly leaves your bank account without you realizing it. If you're someone who feels like you're working harder than ever, but somehow your money doesn't stretch the way it used to, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Alright, let's get into it. Here's the thing. Everyone knows basic inflation. Groceries go up, rent goes up, utilities go up, blah blah blah. But I want you to think about something. Why is it that your income might go up 5%, but your savings don't go up at all? Why do you earn more money than you did 5 years ago but feel poorer? It's because there are categories of spending that inflate faster than CPI, sometimes 2 times or 3 times faster. And because nobody warns you about them, you don't adjust. Let me give you an example that will blow your mind. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, CPI inflation averaged around 3% per year for the last 20 years. But guess what increased way faster? Subscription services plus 225% since 2009 childcare, plus 49% in 10 years. Auto insurance plus 59% in 10 years. Fees, bank, service, convenience, processing, plus 150% in 15 years. Medical deductibles plus 250% since 2008. These are categories that you never see trending on Twitter, but they hit the middle class and lower middle class the hardest because they fall outside your conscious budgeting. And here's what most people don't realize. Your brain adjusts to obvious inflation, but it doesn't adjust to hidden inflation. When you see the price of eggs rise to $6, you're annoyed. When your streaming apps increase by $2, you barely notice. When your insurance bill creeps up by $18 a month, you shrug. When your doctor copay goes from $40 to $65, you sigh and move on. But add those up across categories, across your entire year, and it quietly destroys your financial momentum. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's start with the category that has silently become a multi-billion-dollar wealth leak: subscriptions. Look, subscriptions themselves aren't evil. I love Netflix as much as anyone, but here's the problem. Subscriptions inflate without permission. You may not know this, but in 2023, over 78% of subscription services increased their prices at least once, according to C+R research. And the average price increase between 8% and 30% per year, aka 2 times to 10 times CPI. Now, you might be thinking, Nick, okay, but that's like $2 or $3 increases. That's nothing. Is it though? Let's do the math. Say you have Netflix, $15.49, $19.99 Spotify, $9.99, $10.99. Amazon Prime, $119 per year, $139 per year. Disney Plus, $7.99, $13.99 iCloud, $2.99, $6.99 Gym, $39, $59 Adobe, Canva, editing apps, $9.99, $14.99. Phone plan upgrade fee plus $5 internet plan plus $12. Individually, these increases seem tiny, but collectively, you are paying an extra $1,200 to $1,800 a year for the same services. No added value, nothing extra, just silent inflation. Now think about this. If you invested $1,800 a year at 8% for 20 years, you'd have $91,000. Silent inflation is not costing you $2. It's costing you retirement. And psychologically, here's why it works. Subscriptions bypass your decision-making brain. There is no moment of purchase. There is no pain. It charges you passively. Humans don't fight passive charges, which is exactly why corporations love this model. This one annoys me the most. Auto insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, health insurance, life insurance. Over the last 10 years, auto insurance plus 59%, home insurance plus 47%, health insurance premiums plus 33%, deductibles plus 250%. And what do you get for paying more? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No new features, no upgrades, no improvements. Just silent inflation disguised as adjustments, market fluctuations, or the classic, your risk profile has changed, even when nothing changed. Let me give you a real-world example. A friend of mine in Texas saw his home insurance jump from $2,600 per year to $4,100 per year, a 57% increase without a single claim. No accidents, no repairs, nothing. And when he called, the company told him, "Oh, it's due to changes in the risk environment." You know what that means? Silent inflation. Insurance plays on fear psychology. You think, I don't want to cancel and be unprotected, so you pay more and more and more. And here's what most people don't realize. Insurance inflation hits before income inflation, meaning your mandatory bills rise faster than your ability to earn more. That's how the middle class gets crushed, not because of $5 lattes, but because of mandatory cost creep. Fees are the most predatory form of silent inflation. No one talks about them. No headline reports on them, but fees have skyrocketed. Bank fees, convenience fees, processing fees, service charges, premium support fees, airline baggage fees, event ticket fees. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Americans paid over $32 billion in junk fees in 2022, and the number's rising every year. Let's take one example. Airline baggage fees in the US were $1.4 billion in 2007. In 2022, $6.8 billion. That is a 385% increase. Now let's talk convenience fees, the ones you see when paying for tickets, bills, or services. Many companies increased their fees from $2.99, $4.99, $6.99 in just a few years. That's nearly a 150% increase with zero additional value. Here's the psychological trick. Fees feel small, so your brain doesn't resist. But these small fees have turned into a $300 to $600 per year leak for the average household. Mathematically, that's like losing 10 to 20% of a month's rent every year. Silently. This one is brutal because it traps people. Since 2008, deductibles plus 250% out-of-pocket max, plus 172% copays, plus 60 to 120%. But here's the wildest stat. A $40 copay in 2005 is equivalent to $97 today, after accounting for fee changes, deductibles, and OOP structures. But most people don't do that math. Here's what happens instead. You go to the doctor, you get a bill, you sigh, you pay it, repeat. Medical inflation is the most dangerous because there's no alternative. You can't shop around during an emergency. You can't wait for a discount. You can't negotiate. It is the most psychologically and economically vulnerable category, and it's quietly becoming unaffordable. This one is controversial. It's not external inflation, it's internal inflation. It's the stuff you upgrade because it used to be cheap, and now it feels like a small amount to upgrade. Let me give you an example. You fly economy. You see extra legroom for $49. You think, well, that's not that much. Silent inflation. Your brain compares income now versus income years ago, so $49 doesn't feel like a big deal until you add it up across the entire lifestyle. Here are some common ones. Upgrading phone storage, plus $100. Upgrading hotel room, plus $35 per night. Upgrading car wash tier, plus $10 Uber. Comfort upgrade, plus $12. Grocery premium version, plus $1.50 per item. Individually, tiny, collectively, these upgrades quietly add $2,000 to $4,000 a year. Here's the psychology behind it. Your brain tracks big expenses. It does not track micro upgrades. So you keep upgrading everything without realizing your baseline cost of living inflated. Here's the thing. Silent inflation is far more dangerous than headline inflation for 3 reasons. 1. It doesn't trigger an emotional reaction. You don't feel outrage at a $2 increase. 2. It hits in categories you consider non-negotiable. Insurance, fees, subscriptions. 3. It compounds across every part of your life. $5 here, $12 there, $40 over there. But in total, it can cost you $6,000 to $12,000 per year. And here's what most people don't realize. That number is enough to completely stop your wealth from compounding. Imagine 2 people. Person A saves $400 a month. Person B saves $0 because silent inflation ate everything. After 20 years at 8% interest. Person A, $239,000. Person B, $0. This is why silent inflation is so dangerous. It destroys compounding. And when you destroy compounding, you destroy wealth before it even begins. I'm not here to just scare you. I want you to win. So let's go step by step. Conduct a silent inflation audit. This takes 15 minutes. Open your last 3 months of statements. Create 5 categories. 1. Streaming and subscriptions. 2. Insurance. 3. Fees. 4. Medical. 5. Upgrades and small extras. Write down current amount 12 months ago. Percent increase. 99% of people will be shocked. Step 2. Replace or renegotiate insurance. Biggest wins here. You can lower premiums by 10 to 20% by increasing deductibles slightly, switching carriers, bundling, removing unnecessary add-ons. This saves $600 to $1,200 a year. Step 3. Cancel or downgrade subscriptions. A simple rule. If you haven't used it in 30 days, cancel it. But here's the trick that works. Switch from monthly to annual, only for the ones you actually use. Prevents companies from raising prices mid-year. Step 4. Create a no upgrade rule for 90 days. This is powerful. Every time you see an upgrade option, ask, is this improving my life or just inflating my lifestyle? Follow this for 3 months and you'll save $400 to $1,000 without changing anything important. Step 5. Build a silent inflation buffer. Take the average of your inflation increases, let's say $250 a month, and create a rule. Automatically transfer $250 to savings the moment you get paid. You protect your money before inflation steals it. Section 9. The motivation you need. Look, you're not bad with money. You're not irresponsible. You're not lazy. You are not behind in life. You've been living in a world where the rules keep changing silently. But here's the good news. Now that you see the silent inflation categories, you can fix them. You can take control. You can create margin. You can build momentum. You can get ahead while everyone else falls behind. Because wealth isn't built by winning once. It's built by not losing every month, and silent inflation is where most people lose, without even knowing it. But not you. Not anymore. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who feels like their money disappears every month. I'll see you in the next one.